Hello, this is constitutional attorney Katherine Henry, and I'm here to bring you Friday's freedom fighting tools. So this week we've been talking about the government and them trying to play tricks on you. And we want to make sure that we give you the tools so that you don't let the government make a fool out of you on this April Fool's Day. So today, we're going to go into specifics about some freedom fighting tools that you can use to not only just expand your tool database, but also to put into place the freedom fighting challenge of the week that we gave to you on Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and give you an example of what we're looking for. The links to all these are in the description of this video. So please feel free to check back and copy and paste that right from the description later on. But first, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Congress.gov one. So this one allows us to, I'm just going to make something a little bit smaller on this end and bigger on that end. Okay. So this one allows us to look at everything by session, so we can see which types of legislation or resolutions there are. And if you go down here, you're going to have to pay attention to what you're doing. And if you want to look at only what's happening this legislative session, you're going to click on the 2021-2022 option right here. And then if you're just looking for resolutions, you're going to want to click resolutions, possibly also joint resolutions, and also concurrent resolutions. And once you've finally done that, you can look up at the top and it'll tell you that as of right now, there are 1,798, so just shy of 1,800 resolutions that have been proposed in Congress just this legislative session. Now, that doesn't mean all of them have passed. In fact, you'll see the tracker is actually a very useful tool right here. This particular one says it's at the introduced stage. Then it would be passed by the House, passed by the Senate, to the President to become law. And it looks like one of these became law. That was the Extension of Continuing Appropriations Act. And I don't really want to scroll for all eternity to look at 1,800 of these, but then that's just to give you an example of where they are in the process. So again, this is the federal level resolutions, and you can narrow those down and select only the joint resolutions or concurrent or just the House or Senate resolutions. You could go back and look at other sessions, but this would be a great tool for you to use. All right, so then I want to bring you to the link for the simple resolutions for the Michigan State Legislature. I'm going to give you Florida. I'm going to give you Michigan. Hopefully, it'll give you an idea of what you're looking for, even if you're in another state. That way, you know where to go, what kinds of things to keep an eye out for. So these are the simple resolutions where it just says resolutions. You can search House or Senate or both. You could search by legislative session right here if you know the number you're looking for. Otherwise, you could search by key phrase or keyword if you'd like to. Otherwise, you could just go right here and you could search just for the particular session. Oops, I have to select a session. That would be helpful. Which ones have been introduced this legislative session so far in the House, for example. And you could take a look at these. There was one I wanted to show you guys, but well, I'll keep that in mind at another time. Okay. So that is where you can find the simple resolutions. Those are going to be not binding in nature upon the people. It's for basically housekeeping types of matters within either the House or the Senate. Now, if you're looking for the concurrent resolutions, then you can see which ones have been submitted or proposed in the House or the Senate, or you can search for what's happening in both at the same time. And again, search by legislative session, or you could just browse by legislative session right here. So that is one of the other links I provided to you. And the joint resolutions option is also included. It's the tool functions the same way as the concurrent and the simple resolutions, but they do break them down in the state of Michigan. So I wanted to give you all three so you knew that they were in fact broken down and how to keep an eye out for that if you're looking for one type of resolution or the other. All right. So in Florida, I wanted to start with the State Library and Archives of the state of Florida. This is from the Department of State. It doesn't have a way that I could see to identify which resolutions have passed this legislative session just by resolution. But what you could do is look, this was the 2022 session, and I think it defaults to that, but you can change it right up here. So you can look down here, and if you search by bill number, you'll see there are Senate bills, there are House bills. Right here, though, you can see HJR 1 and SJR 100. In the description of the video, I gave you the note to pay attention for the key terms that are needed there. I don't have them all in front of me anymore, but it's in the description. It gives you how they, essentially those are the abbreviations for the House concurrent resolutions, Senate concurrent resolutions, House simple resolutions, Senate simple resolutions, House joint resolutions, and Senate joint resolutions, all 6 different kinds of them, what letters you'd be looking for, and that would be found in the bill number area. So you're looking for one that starts with one of those abbreviations that I gave you in the description of the video. So this is only going to show you the laws, the resolutions that have passed that have in some effect, some way, shape, or form, the effect of law. And that's why you'll see it is just the joint resolutions that have made it here, and it's on apportionment, which would have the effect of law, but also the proposed constitutional amendment. Of course, if that changes and goes into effect through the series of procedures that need to be done in order to modify a state constitution, then the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So there you go. It'll be it'll have that force and effect of law. So if you want to look, though, for the resolutions just as they are being introduced, you can again go to the Florida House of Representatives. I didn't find one Florida legislature place to search. This option was available on both the Senate side and the House side, but when you're in either, you can actually search for either one. But I actually decided to share only the Florida House of Representatives version with you because it works a lot better and looks a lot sleeker than the Senate side for this particular function anyway. So you can search again for House or Senate or both. You search by session. You could search for the current regular session of 2022, for example. And then right here under bill type is where you would select joint resolution, concurrent resolution, or resolution. Is just called resolution. So that's the way that you would search if you're, for example, looking for resolution. You can search like that, and it would show that there are 76 resolutions that had been introduced. Well, I guess I don't know what they're calling it in Florida then, because if something was brought forth to the legislature but it died in session, then I'm not sure what this means when it says it wasn't even introduced. Perhaps it was brought forth on the Senate side, but not even introduced on the House side because it didn't pass the Senate, its original chamber. So I'm assuming that's what that portion means. Otherwise, it tells you when it was adopted and what that looks like there. So that is for the state of Florida. Again, even though it says House of Representatives, it does work for both the House and Senate side. All right, so I wanted to also give you an example of what it looks like to see the municipal, city, township side of things, and maybe village, different names for different municipalities that would have the ability to implement ordinances or resolutions. So I'm going to give you the Georgetown Township of Michigan example, because this one is the one that I've had the most familiarity with in recent years, primarily because that's where we were living when we were in Michigan until we moved last year. We were living in Georgetown Township, and I was serving as a township trustee. I was on the township board here in Georgetown Township. So just wanted to show you what you'd be looking at here. Actually, in some cases, you would see the you would see the resolutions right here. And that's really why I wanted to show you this, because this is MuniCode. It's municipal code. And it is a website that's not unique to Georgetown Township. It is a website or a service, essentially a third party that is used by a lot of municipal governments all over. And depending on what information they give to the company is what is the determining factor on what you actually see displayed. Right here, you see the chapter, you see the zoning ordinance, you see some the schedule of ordinances, franchises, you see a preface, and here you see a charter. In local government terms, a charter is essentially your municipality's constitution. So keep that separate or distinct from resolutions and from ordinances, or essentially laws, statutes passed at the local level. At least in Florida and in Michigan, the charters, the counties and the municipalities are authorized by state constitution to create and amend their own charters if they wish. In the state of Michigan, if you are a charter township, if you've essentially gone through the procedure to do that, then you can create your own charter, and then there's a set of laws that apply to being a charter township. And if you are not a charter township, you have not gone through all that, you're just a regular old township in Michigan, then there's a separate set of laws that applies where that Chapter 41 applies to regular townships. It also applies to charter townships. Those laws kind of give us some direction on what municipalities can do. Can they regulate you, and how? So oftentimes it's best to go ahead and look at the particular charter for your community to determine whether your local government, your municipality, what their ability is, what their authority is in terms of issuing ordinances or resolutions, what the procedures or policies have to be in order to get those approved. As you can see here, though, this is an example of one that isn't so great in some regards, but when I came onto the board, it said charter, and then it kind of rolled right into, actually it had the preface here. This is what you saw for the when you clicked on charter, and that didn't make any sense because it didn't really talk about the charter. So this will tell you that Georgetown Charter Township is an incorporated charter township. And so MCL Chapter 42 serves as the charter for the township, which you can do it that way. And where Chapter 42 is silent, then Chapter 41 serves in that capacity. And essentially, those two chapters work together to provide the rules and regulations for how municipal governments in Michigan are allowed to make laws. Are they supposed to do it by ordinance? Are they supposed to do it by resolution? So I tell you all this to show you that when you're looking for your municipal government's resolutions, these are some ways that you might get tripped up, because honestly, this whole thing is a bunch of garbage still. It shouldn't be that you have to look in 17 different places to be able to find what your municipal charter or constitution is, what your municipal statutes or ordinances are, what your municipal resolutions are, your zoning code, all of those things. They should be easy to find and understand and all in one place for you. So anyway, that is something you want to take a look at. When we lived in the city of Belding, the city of Belding had its own charter that was separate and distinct from Chapter 42 and 41 of the MCLs in Michigan. And you could actually go and get a copy of the charter, and it gave you the rules and regulations that the people put into place. I don't remember what year the city of Belding in Michigan established or adopted its charter, but it was several decades ago. But anyway, it was the people that voted on that, and they put into place what regulations or rules that their municipal government had to abide by for a variety of things. But one certainly was its lawmaking authority. So it would be its own separate document aside from these laws. But in Michigan, I definitely wanted to give you that information, that it's important for you to understand what your particular government allows. As far as being able to find your own municipal resolutions, that can be quite challenging. I don't have an easy answer for you on that. I myself was looking for the Legislature Township charter, if there was one, or their resolutions, their ordinances, that kind of thing online. And it was a little bit hard to navigate their website. Granted, it's a very small town, and I think they have something like 3 full-time employees as a township, and the rest or maybe not even full-time. I don't know. At any rate, they have a lot of volunteers. They don't have a ton of staff, but it's a government. And if the government of any kind, size, shape, whatever, wants to use any kind of mechanism for regulating you, for impacting your life, liberty, or property in any way, shape, or form, they need to put you on notice about it, and you have to have ready access to that information. So just wanted to give you the heads up, especially given the Wednesday's Way to Get Involved challenge that I provided to you this week, which I hope you are doing. Please make sure to come back tomorrow and Sunday. We are going to give you a little bit more information about this week's Restore Freedom goodie, as well as some biblical insight for this week's topic, because of course, as always, we want to give you those freedom fighting tools so you can fight back and make sure that the government doesn't make you the fool this week or ever when it comes to your freedom. Again, this is constitutional attorney Katherine Henry. It's been a pleasure. I hope that you have enjoyed this week's information, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day, everyone.